Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to laughingplace.com Star Wars Headlines. I'm Rebekah Mosley, co-founder of Laughing Place, and with me is our editorial director for all Star Wars content here at Laughing Place, Mike Celestino. Hey, Mike.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing really, really well. I am excited. I'm excited about today. I am mostly excited to hear about this.
I keep saying if you're a Laughing Place fan out there, I'm sure there are some Laughing Place fans who have been following along with my adventures at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for a few years. And the first day I ever was there outside of the reservation system, after the reservations ended, and the first day that they opened it up for a full day of access to Galaxy's Edge, I brought along my Sabacc deck. And I sat there and I tweeted out on the Laughing Place Twitter. I was like, somebody come and play me in Sabacc. No one showed up that day, but finally I was able to play some Sabacc against a nice cast member there who was teaching folks how to play there on Batuu. So that was very cool to get to see that that's happening and to participate in that.
I was so thrilled to see this picture pop up on Twitter, knowing how long you've been waiting for the opportunity to play some Sabacc on Batuu. So really excited about that. But it's Omega Monday on a Wednesday, and we're going to be talking Bad Batch to begin with. So let me pull that up. And here we go. This week's episode was called Common Ground, right, Mike?
Common Ground, yeah. And this is this episode was about the Bad Batch kind of leaving Omega behind on a mission. They left her to be babysat by Sid there on the right, voiced by Rhea Perlman. And they went off to the planet Raxus to extract a senator there, right? Or some kind of politician who was opposing the Empire. And needed to be rescued. So that was what they were hired for. They didn't think it was safe with so many Imperials being around. They didn't think it was safe for Omega to go. They left her behind with Sid, and we got to see like kind of what happens on both sides of that story.
I enjoyed seeing the a bit softer side of Sid. I mean, there's clearly an affinity for Omega from Sid in this, but yet still staying true to that money-making, what's in it for me element that has been a part of the main character, Sid.
Yeah, I thought this episode was pretty decent because of that. The mission itself, I thought, was just kind of like standard stuff, but yeah, I did enjoy seeing that interaction between Sid and Omega, and then kind of finding out a little bit more about Omega's abilities. Apparently she's really good at strategy specifically, although we've seen her be good at a bunch of other stuff as well. We still don't really know exactly why she's so great at everything, though we get a little bit more each week about Omega's abilities and her past.
I'm beginning to lean more towards the notion that it's kind of like the best elements of each of the. Before I was kind of wondering if we're dealing with like a force sensitive, because they kind of seem to hint at that. But after this week's episode, now I'm leaning more towards the camp of just take all of the elements of the Bad Batch, amp it up a little bit, and then you've got it in Omega, but. Who knows? Check it out. The Doob man is here.
That kind of goes contrary to what they told us about her being like an unaltered clone of Jango Fett, but maybe we don't have the whole truth about that yet. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll find out. There's 6 episodes left in the season. I don't know. Is there anything else like notable about this episode?
For me, I texted you at the time as I was watching it when they jumped into that battle walker.
Yeah.
And then the other people jumped into the battle walker. It was like, the slowest pursuit in the history of the universe. And then it didn't last very long. But I thought that'd be kind of funny if you're like, the Anesses were chasing each other.
Right.
They were chasing the Bad Batch in these incredibly, slow take things, and I just found it humorous, and I was kind of sad that they transitioned out of that element of pursuit so quickly, because I found the visual
Right.
funny.
Yeah, that was funny, and we also got to hang out more with the characters that you pointed out got carried over from the Clone Wars, the
The Itharian
Ithorian,
and
and the other guy, was he a Weequay or something?
yes, yeah, yeah. The not Hammerhead and not Doc Ondar. No, sorry, Hondo. Not Doc Ondar and not Hondo.
Right.
That's how I remember them.
Sure.
Oh, let's see. This week, Mike also got to check out a few new comics. I guess we'll start with the High Republic #6.
Yeah, I have a whole stack of comics here that we haven't talked about because we skipped Darth Vader last week, right? Just real
Yeah,
quickly,
we did.
he fought our IG-88, the assassin droid. So that was the big part of that issue as part of the War of the Bounty Hunters crossover. But then, yeah, High Republic #6. This is the first issue in the second arc for this comic, and they are going the Jedi. This is Avar Kriss, Jedi Master Avar Kriss, riding on this Rancor here, and she has teamed up with the Hutt cartel. That's why she has a Rancor, and the Hutts and the Jedi are going off to fight the Drengir, who are these like sentient plant monsters. I really like this issue. I think Kevin Scott's still doing a great job writing this, and the art was really good. And they find the whole issue is about like finding basically what I would call like the alien queen of the Drengir, and it kind of ends with a cliffhanger of them finding that, so that they're going to try to cut off the Drengir at the roots. No pun intended, or pun intended, I guess. Yeah.
The sentient plants. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of riding a Rancor. I will admit that this was kind of a new visual for me.
Yeah, that's a cool image, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm liking that. That's pretty epic. If you be sure and check out Mike's review, because he brings out a little bit more about these species. The what are the thank you, the Drengir and the Nile, or the Nihil?
Nile, yeah.
Nile. He talks a little bit more about them in his review, and he also gets some author insights in this particular comic review, and we'll have those links here, so to be sure and check those out for a little bit more on those.
And then this week, or I guess this is still last week actually, because going back to War of the Bounty Hunters, this was the Dr. Aphra tie-in to that, and Aphra here and her partner in crime, Sana Staros, come across this guy. His name is Dirge. He was a bounty hunter from the first Clone Wars cartoon, the Genndy Tartakovsky one, which has recently been put up on Disney Plus. He was not canon until recently, and now they've made him canon. So the whole issue is about them. They're tracking down this guy for the Taggy family, and he is like a cousin of theirs, and he stole something or other. But yeah, they're all heading to this auction basically, where Han Solo's being sold by the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate. But Dirge shows up trying to collect the bounty on the same guy, and they kind of have a little bit of a conflict. But then they're attacked by, I kept saying like the Alien franchise kept coming up that week, because they're all attacked by these little like face hugger type creatures in that ship, and they have to figure out a way to escape them. There you go. There's an image of that right there, with Dirge and Sana and Dr. Aphra.
So Zach is hoping that we get some flashbacks to Dirge's Clone War days, now that Dirge has popped up in these comics. So,
Could very well happen. Yeah. Speaking of that, I actually forgot to mention that, but in this review that I wrote today, another bit of Legends canon stuff got carried over to the current canon, because there was a story in the Tales Tales of the Bounty Hunters anthology book back in the old canon about Dengar's past and a woman that he was involved with who was being held captive by the Hutts. And that obviously got wiped away with the old canon. But now, in this issue of Bounty Hunters that came out today, we found out that that woman still exists in the current canon and is being held captive by Bib Fortuna and Jabba the Hutt. So that's why Dengar wants to capture Boba Fett and get the Han Solo in carbonite back from the Crimson Dawn, who has it right now. But we see Dengar and Valance, Baylor Valance, the bounty hunter, they're on the smuggler's moon of Nar Shaddaa and trying to find Boba Fett, but instead they're getting tracked by this assassin here, another obscure character. Her name is Deathstick, which I find to be kind of a silly name. But she's an assassin working for Crimson Dawn. So Kira has actually sent this assassin after Valance and Dengar, though she doesn't actually want them to be killed, as we find out in this issue. But Deathstick here was first introduced in a Star Wars mobile game about 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Called Star Wars Uprising, which I have never played, but that's apparently where she came from. I didn't really know much about her before this.
So they're really paying off like the long time, deeply dedicated fan base with these various. They just keep gleaning from these various elements, whether it's from the Thrawn, trilogy that was so long ago, or as you mentioned, the Uprising, and as Zach talks about, Clone Wars. It's like all these, they just keep like pulling from various little threads that are out there. So it's neat. It's causing me to visit Wikipedia more frequently.
Me too.
So it's all good. Now, Zach is asking, what do you think's going to happen? Bad Batch, the debt was paid thanks to Omega.
Yeah, that's right. We forgot to mention that. So thanks to Omega's Dejarik skills, the Bad Batch no longer owes Sid any money. That's kind of how that episode ended. So we've got 6 episodes left in the season. I can see them leaving Ord Mantell, going on some other kind of adventure, maybe meeting up with the rebellion again, or the burgeoning, the blossoming rebellion. I honestly don't know. I don't know where they go from here. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like we need more events to kind of force them off their fence sitting.
Yeah.
Because right now they're still kind of fence sitting. Even with this episode, they were kind of, what? Go help separatists? We're insulted you even asked us. So I'm interested to see that's where I anticipate these next 6 take us. Okay. In that we will kind of see what events force them off the fence. Great. So that's where I'm envisioning. I'm looking forward to seeing what the outcome was of the game, because it was a bet.
Oh, right.
The final scene was Hunter and Omega in this chess game, and in essence, if she wins, then she doesn't have to stay put anymore when they go on the missions. Right? That was what the agreement was.
I have a feeling Omega won that. I don't.
That would be my expectation too.
I would be surprised if they had that kind of as a cliffhanger, and then it turned out that Hunter won and Omega just has to stay behind again. I don't see that happening.
I would have liked to have seen a bit of doubt as to whether Hunter threw it or she won.
Right.
I would like to have had that kind of lingering. So that's why I'm hoping that they revisit it rather than just have us next scene with the result. Do you think, Mike, this is a Mike question, Crosshair will be back as a Dark Trooper?
Well, the Dark Troopers that we've seen in the current canon were droids, but I guess there could have been like earlier versions of them that were suits or different kind of armor that he'd be wearing or something. So I guess it's possible if he's like an earlier iteration of the Dark Trooper.
We're about to move into the Essential Legends collection, but before we do, I have a question for you because I'm reading an Essential Legends title right now. I'm reading Heir
Yeah.
to the Empire, and Dark Jedi appear in this title. Is that something that, as a element of Star Wars, has it carried on, or is that like not canon at all? The notion of the Dark Jedi.
Yeah, I mean that basically became the Sith, I think, later on. A Sith is pretty much a dark Jedi, but
Yeah,
that
that's
just used
what
to be what they called it.
that was what I was curious was, is it in essence just a moniker, a change in name, or was this some, element that had a different take? So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if that was like, if I said Dark Jedi now, would I sound like I didn't know what I was talking about?
Well, I want to say the word Sith went back to some of the very early drafts of Star Wars, but it was never actually used in anything until the prequels, I don't think. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong about that.
Those are that would be where my knowledge of the word Sith. I feel like I learned the term Sith and all that through the prequels as opposed to the
Yeah.
original. So my memory would corroborate your assertion there.
So
But
you're talking
you,
about Jorus Sabaoth? Is that the guy?
yes, yeah, that guy, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I
I
kind of want
just
to reread that too. Now you got me wanting to reread Heir to the Empire as well.
I'm doing the audiobook with the
Oh, great.
I'm going back and forth. I have a Kindle,
Yeah.
so I listen to a bit, and then I'll be honest, I listened to the portions with like Thrawn and the Empire element, the Imperial element, because those tend to be more kind of strategy, battle thought, and that's less interesting to me. So I let the narrator and all of that make it more interesting to me, and then I myself end up reading the portions with Luke and Leia and Han,
Okay.
and so I kind of swap back and forth.
Now
So,
I had an audiobook of that trilogy growing up that was read by Anthony Daniels. Is that
oh
the
wow,
same one
no,
that you have?
no, this one's done by Mark Thompson, who does a
Okay.
lot of the Star Wars novels now.
That's
So
weird. I
yeah,
wonder why they would redo it unless the old one was like abridged and they wanted to,
that would be
which is,
my that would
yeah.
be my belief would be that
Okay.
because I know that this one makes a point of saying unabridged, so my suspicion would be that previously it had been
Okay.
abridged. But you recently reviewed and discussed Shatterpoint.
Yeah, so this is kind of the same thing that happened because this book originally came out in 2003 between episodes 2 and 3 in the theater. It's about Mace Windu and it takes place during the Clone Wars, which makes sense for that timeline. But when the audiobook originally came out, it was abridged and now they've reprinted the book and as part of the Essential Legends collection, but also they did a new audiobook. So I read along with the novel and listened to the audiobook as well. And I had never read this before. It came out during a period where I wasn't as into Star Wars and I'm really glad that they're doing this Essential Legends collection because I probably never would have read this and I really like this book. It's basically if you've ever read Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, the very famous
Mm-hmm.
novel from 100 plus years ago, and then Apocalypse Now is the movie that got inspired by that. But this is like those two stories in Star Wars with Mace Windu. Mace Windu is kind of the Martin Sheen role, and then his former Padawan Depa Balaba, who in the current canon is Kanan's master. But in this book, she's the Marlon Brando character from
Oh wow.
Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
Um, it's like nice and long. It really takes its time. It only focuses on one character, like only one perspective. You know, a lot of the current Star Wars novels, they're jumping all over the place, a different perspective every chapter. And I vastly prefer this. Like, let's zoom in on one character and get their perspective on everything that happens. I mean, there's different ways to do it, obviously, but this was like a breath of fresh air to me. And obviously, it's almost 20 years old, but I still really enjoyed it. Matthew Stover is a great writer. He famously wrote the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which everybody loves. I've never read that either,
Yes.
but that's like famously one of the better novelizations of a Star Wars movie. So, highly recommend you go out and pick this up. Shatterpoint from Del Rey, the Essential Legends collection.
I'm pretty sure that Revenge of the Sith title, I read it while my husband was in theaters watching the film. There's been a couple of movies in the past, like blockbuster movies, where I didn't want to go and see them in theaters because just too crowded, too many people. And so on the night when my husband would be off at the theater watching the film, I would be consuming the title at home in novelization.
Did
So
you remember liking that
I,
novelization?
I do remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. So I am glad to see that his Shatterpoint title is back in this Essential Legends collection reissue. Um, is this that book where Mace has nightmares about Django?
Yeah, so this takes place right after obviously the end of episode 2, the Battle of Geonosis, when he kills Mace Windu killed Jango Fett. So he's kind of haunted by that, and he keeps like replaying that mission in his head. Like, could he have done something differently to ensure a better outcome? And that's kind of part of the big arc of Mace Windu's story in this book, is him trying to figure out what he could have done differently. I won't spoil what he decides at the end, but yeah, it's kind of like a character study of Mace Windu, which it's a character that he doesn't have a tremendous amount of screen time in across the prequels, so it's nice to like get to spend some time with him. And then you imagine Samuel L. Jackson saying the lines, and it's written accurately to that actor, I think, and the inflections that you would imagine coming out of him. And the guy who read the audiobook is very good. He's not like doing an impression really, but he still does a good job of like getting across the essence of the character and all the other like new characters that are introduced. And there's a handful of appearances, like Yoda is in it briefly, Palpatine is in it briefly, and obviously Depa Billaba plays a major role. And there's a new enemy and a new sidekick kind of. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Now I started the third book in the Essential Legends collection, which is called Darth Bane, Path of Destruction.
Mm.
And it's another book I've never read, and I'll be reviewing that in a couple of weeks here on Laughing Place.
Well, as I prepared for today and pulled up your Shatterpoint review, I got distracted by this adorable little mug. Check it out. See over at Box Lunch, how cute is this figural mug? So that was my like little distraction in the midst of work. I think he's totally adorable, so I thought I'd share him. He's over at Box Lunch.
Fun.
How cute is he? Okay. But in other news, Mike, we've got Old Republic Legacy of the Sith expansion coming.
Yeah, so Old Republic is a MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game for computers. I've never played it. You'd think I would have, but I never got into it. I played the single-player versions, the Knights of the Old Republic. I don't like online gaming.
Right.
I don't like having to interact with other people. When I play video games, I just want to be on my own, doing my own thing.
I live and die on my own.
Yeah, exactly.
Others do not have to rely on my skill. I don't have to rely on other people's skill. I hear you. I can relate.
That's my hesitance of playing the Old Republic, but they did announce they said it's a major expansion continuing the story in honor of the game's 10th anniversary.
The visuals are cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
These guys look amazing, and this world looks intense. So I'm
look at that artwork there. I don't know if that's a screen capture or just like concept art or something, but it does look pretty cool.
And we also have the exploration of Star Wars through the world of anime. We got more information about that, including a trailer.
Yeah, it's a nice like 3.5 minute or maybe 4 minute trailer. It's mostly concept art. They didn't show a lot of like actual animation from the show, but this is a collection of 9 shorts from 7 different anime studios, and they're all inspired by Star Wars. I don't think they're necessarily canon, In fact, I'm pretty sure that they're not canon, but I think that's wonderful. Actually, like that Lucasfilm is willing to explore Star Wars storytelling that doesn't adhere to the same chronology or timeline as the one that we're used to expanding right now. I hope that they do more of that. Maybe they can continue adding to the Legends timeline. Have a few different going, you know? Why not? It doesn't hurt anybody to say, okay, this is part of this continuity. This is part of this continuity.
It's a major adaptation for the fan base, I think, because it's I think Star Wars, unlike many other pop culture phenomenons out there, I think timeline has always been so tightly held and heavily debated. I mean, you couldn't have that in I know you can't have that in the Marvel universe. It's much more challenging in the Marvel universe because you've got all these alternates and which Earth are we on and all that kind of thing. I haven't even dived into it.
Well, if you watch Loki, a lot of people have pointed this out, but Loki is kind of challenging that idea that there has to be this one timeline, you know? And I really like that about that show, and I hope that, you know, Kevin Feige can use his influence over, you know, whatever he has at Lucasfilm, because I know there was talk of him making his own Star Wars movie or whatever, but I hope that we can explore these different timelines, just using the what would you call it, the tropes of Star Wars, and kind of tell your own unique story. And that's what it seems like these anime creators are doing. So that all episodes of this Star Wars Visions are coming out the same day, September 22nd on Disney Plus, and I will watch it as soon as I can and review it on Laughing Place.
I'm excited to see what these different studios bring to the Star Wars characters, and then I'm interested to see how those influences shape things moving forward. You know, because I have to imagine that there's going to be certain elements that maybe will pop up within these storylines that maybe we'll then see reflected moving forward, especially, you know, if the fan base embraces them or whatnot. I mean, for example, to me, the dynamic nature of Avengers Campus within the Marvel context, it leads me to wonder if we'll see a more dynamic nature come to Galaxy's Edge, because that's just played so well with fans.
Yeah.
Of
I sure hope so. I sure hope that starts a trend, because I do think it's a great idea. And people have talked about, even Lucasfilm pointed out in their presentation that, you know, Japanese culture had a big influence on Star Wars from the very beginning. So this is a kind of a continuation of that, kind of going back in the other direction. But I'm excited for all those things.
I was going to say, we saw that very heavily in The Mandalorian, especially most recently. Laughing Place. So what do you want in Bad Batch? Another War of the Bounty Hunters? Lots more bounty hunters after Omega. Do you think we're going to see more bounty hunters in search of Omega?
Well, there's already been a lot of bounty hunter stuff. I don't know if they're going to go too heavily in that direction. Like, we've already seen that big episode that was like Cad Bane fighting Fennec Shand. I think that's probably the biggest like War of the Bounty Hunter stuff we're gonna get in Bad Batch. Although I do also think Boba Fett, the young Boba Fett, is going to show up.
That'd be cool.
In the Bad Batch, like they're hinting at it with the fact that Omega is basically Boba Fett's twin sister. So they have to meet at some point, right?
Yep. Over on Batuu, some new food items have popped up at Hollywood Studios. These are at Docking Bay 7 and Ronto Roasters. A variety of dishes. You've got beef and crispy topato stir fry, an Andorian chicken salad, some hot chicken tip yip, a little poke bowl. So lots of different items arriving over in Galaxy's Edge. Over at, I think these are from Ronto, right?
Yeah.
So there you've got some pork rinds, some grilled zucchini wrapped in a pita with some yummy tahini sauce and chickpea onion slaw. You've got a breakfast wrap that features plant-based egg with that chickpea onion slaw, and then roasted tomato sauce, also in a pita wrap. And the Anduin fruit. Okay, this is cool. They take sticks of jicama and cucumber and melon and dragon fruit, and they douse it in a tamarind sauce, and they then have like a dusted with some peppercorn ash, so give it a little bit of heat to it. But so you've got that nice crunch, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of hot. Sounds like a neat thing, but it also just looks weird, which works really well, because there's a uniqueness to the dragon fruit and whatnot, especially when they're cut into these strips. Really clever use of Terran items to represent Batu.
Terran, yeah. Wrong universe.
Yeah, no, I know.
Why do you think they're doing this in Florida and not here in California?
I don't know. My suspicion is simply going to be that Florida is back to greater numbers than California. That's
okay.
So just a matter of ramping up. But that's purely guess on my part. To be completely honest, I have no That's where I need like Ben. Ben has good speculation regarding that thing. I'm not the corporate analyst that he is, but yeah.
My wife and I were at Disneyland for the 4th of July, and we went on Rise of the Resistance. We got a nice, fairly early boarding group, and she got to see the attraction like working entirely. Like I was like, because I keep a mental note as I go through. Okay, that's not working. And the previous time she had gone on it, like the lightsaber through the ceiling wasn't working. The Kylo Ren animatronic wasn't working. And I was like, no. I really hope it's all firing on all cylinders. But yeah, everything was working, and she got to see the full version of that. So the A mode, as we call it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad. Did you have a nice July 4th? Did you stay for fireworks and whatnot?
We tried to get a spot for the fireworks, but we didn't camp out early. We didn't really care enough to stake out a spot. We were more there to try to go on as many rides as possible, which we did. And we actually left right as the fireworks were starting, because a couple years ago we did the 4th at Disneyland, and it's one of my favorite days to go to the park because everyone's just camping out for the fireworks, and you just like have a run. You have the run of the park and all the attractions. It's great. But then we don't care about the fireworks, so we just left. And we tried to beat the crowds back to the parking garage and leave, because we got stuck one year. We had stayed for the fireworks, and we got stuck. It took like 45 minutes to an hour to get out of the parking garage, but this time we just bolted. So
that's one of those days where you either have to bolt or opt to stick around for an extra amount. Get yourself a coffee and sit around and just wait for everybody to kind of disperse. It's what are the other?
Well, we had been there all day, so we were pretty tired.
I understand that. Yep, I understand opting for the get out of here early. Over at RockLove Jewelry, they're continuing to bring us Star Wars inspired items. This time it's Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers. This is actually a dual chain. So because Ahsoka carries the dual sabers, so they're going with this a little bit shorter and a little bit longer to represent, her left and right sabers. They also have it as an earring set as well. So these are from RockLove Jewelry. They've also released a Bo-Katan helmet ring, and you can see its size. It's a hefty sized ring with the cloisonne and the beautiful sculpting there representing her Mandalorian helmet. But what I continue to wait for and am very excited about are these Kyber crystal necklaces that are coming, representing various familiar hilts from the Star Wars galaxy. Those are coming July 13th. They have only unveiled 2 of them, the first 2, which it's Luke and Vader, right?
Yes.
I'm pulling that up right. Okay. So
or if you want to look at it a different way, 2 2 of Anakin's lightsabers.
That's okay. There you go. That would work as well. And I mean, clearly the next one is Kylo Ren, right? I mean,
That would make sense to me with the
there's no
crossguard. Yeah.
there's nobody else's. Um, so yeah, I believe we also anticipate that Rey has a saber in here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking one of them might be a dark saber, but I'm not sure. The fourth one that hasn't been that it's 3 from the left. I think that might be a dark saber. That's just my guess.
One of the ones on the right there, either the last one or the second to last one, is Luke's green lightsaber. I think. Yeah.
That's my guess. I think one of them might be
Oh yeah, Yoda's.
Or Mace Windu, right? I was trying to remember that. I feel like the curved one maybe is Mace. I was looking at it the other day trying to figure out. I was also going based on color scheme, right? Yeah, see, there's like that curvature to it. Yeah.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And I also thought it'd be cool to have one that's purple. So I was going kind of a mix of familiar hilts and beautiful crystal opportunities. So we shall see what's ahead with these items. They are coming July 13th. My understanding is they're going to be released a little bit at a time. We don't have a price point yet. We're still waiting for that announced as well, but we'll keep you posted here at Laughing Place. And I had a lot of fun this week because I was sent a box of items from Erin Condren, and this is a planning company. They do things like notebooks and planners and those types of things, and they just unveiled a Star Wars line. Numerous covers are available. I'm just going to scroll a little bit through their website. They've got this Darth Vader cover, the Princess Leia Falcon. We've got some Grogu and Mandalorian. Mostly it's classic and Mandalorian. I haven't seen much representing kind of that in-between era at all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they also have some that maybe are a bit more I don't know, juvenile in a way. The droids are a bit more just kind of fun. Right. The stormtroopers are with one of them with his head cocked to the side a little bit. Yeah. So really a lot of different designs and really beautiful items. Let me see if I can get this to work with me. I will stop sharing this one. And then I think I can make this one bigger. Let's see. Ta-da! So yeah, and then so they've got things like this this to-do sheet, and so you've got the various icons along the side, but and then they've got one for just the day, and you can put your items on it, and you've got the X-wings in the top, the TIE fighters coming at you from the bottom. But the item for me that was the showstopper was this beautiful, it's a blush colored coiled notebook. And the coil itself is this beautiful rose gold. And the cover is a blush color. And then the silhouette is this kind of metallic, prismatic look and it's a Leia silhouette. And it's just really, really beautiful. And the neat thing about the Condren system is that the on these notebooks, even though it's coiled like that, they have these interchangeable covers that you can replace the coils. So even though, like right here all along the edge, this is perforated, so you can peel off this cover and put on a different cover. Oh, neat. And so there's a wide variety of images and everything to kind of personalize it. They also have this lovely leather. It's like a vegan leather softbound notebook, and it has the twin sons of Tatooine. May the Force be with you. And then on the inside, it has a sketch of C-3PO and R2-D2 there on the Tatooine desert. And, you have a bookmark for as you fill it up, you can, mark your place. But there's the back edge of it. But all of these are over at Erin Condren. Really pretty designs. And I had so much fun with when it was neat when they sent it. And then they even have like little, check it out, Mike. They even have like little sticky notes. It's this little folder and it opens up.
Oh, that's great.
And you've got the Falcon, some planetary stuff. Then you've got the flags with the icons like Darth Vader. And then you've got the regular sized sticky notes with the dueling sabers and the traditional Star Wars logo. But the folder itself is really
that's cool.
It's got some nice look to it. So all these items, like I say, they're really well done, beautifully designed, and they are all over at Erin Condren, and the link for it will be down below. We were able to do a little review of the items, and we thank them for sending over that basket of goodies. That was a lot of fun. So
Very neat.
Had a good time. Trying to get my where am I going next? I think, Mike, I have to do this. Sorry, I have a window open. Build-A-Bear. We're heading over to Build-A-Bear. Have you seen these yet? I'm hopeful
I've seen the images, yes.
I'm hopeful that I can get the little bit of audio for you too, because these are adorable.
Okay.
These are over at Build-A-Bear. It's a Lothcat and is it Loth or Loth? I've heard both.
Well, the planet is called Lothal, or I'm pretty sure they say Lothal, so I would think it's Lothcat. I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I've said Lothcat.
Yeah. I was kind of, debating that the other day, once to make sure I'm old enough to do this. So let me see if this is gonna. I think I'm gonna have to hit share again because I forgot to hit the share audio button.
Okay.
Because this little guy cracks me up. He's so cute, but then, can you hear it?
Very faintly.
Very faint. I'm not sure how to boost it either.
Okay.
But he it's the typical Jawa sounds. There's 5 different audio clips that come with these little guys, and including one where it's like a group of Jawas chanting at you. So it's really, really cute items over at Build-A-Bear. These are new. Some of these are available only online. They aren't available in stores, so be sure and check out the website if you're interested in a Build-A-Bear Star Wars item. They also have a sale going on for some of their, I would call it Star Wars gear. Things like the Grogu pajamas for your teddy bear, the Ahsoka Tano gift set where, you can dress your bear as Ahsoka. So these are all over at Build-A-Bear.
Nice.
Yep.
I don't see much Build-A-Bear in the wild these days since it got rid of the location at Disneyland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's one at Knott's Berry Farm now, but it's very tiny. It's like in a tiny little building. And I don't think they have a lot of that specialty stuff.
They actually just opened up one at SeaWorld, of all things. SeaWorld Orlando now has a Build-A-Bear location.
Okay.
I know we're not Marvel talk, but I know you also watch Marvel. So I thought, maybe you might have something to say on the matter.
So do we think there could be a time variant of Black Widow in the future to bring Natasha back? I think anything is possible. I don't know. Has Scarlett Johansson said whether she wants to come back? I don't know. I thought the Black Widow movie was kind of like her swan song, So,
and that comes out on Friday, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so everybody's very excited about that. I'm eager to hear what our team thought about it. I know there'll be lots of chatter.
I'm not spoiling anything to say that she died because she died like 3 movies ago. But
right? Yeah, no, I know.
This movie takes place earlier in the timeline, so.
I think that's kind of how we'll see more and more of these things, right? With kind of revisiting characters from other points in time.
Right.
So that would be my answer to that, was if they, maybe if she wanted to come back, they'd bring her back.
Yeah.
Who, that's kind of where all of these things go now. Let's finally, Mike, who's the boss? You've got stuff going on with your podcast.
Yes. Last week on Who's the Bossk, we talked about an experimental film. It's kind of an avant-garde film called Powaqqatsi. It's a sequel to a movie called Koyaanisqatsi, very famous art film from the 80s. I found a guest who knew a lot about it, which I'm always surprised because I had trouble even finding anyone to talk with me about this movie. And this guy had met the director and
Oh,
talked with
wow.
him and stuff. So I was very happy to have him. But the first half hour of the episode is an interview that I did with Cavan Scott, one of the writers from the High Republic and the High Republic comic book and stuff. So definitely enjoyed talking to him. I really wanted to talk to him this year, so I'm glad that I got to do that.
That's awesome. So be sure and check out Who's the Bossk Pod, the interview with Cavan Scott, along with the talk of the movie that I'm not going to try and pronounce. I know I'm
well,
going to.
Next week, or the one that I'm recording in a few hours, actually, is a little easier to say. I'm talking about Willow this week, so.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I can say Willow.
People know that one.
I have yet to see Willow. Maybe I should check that out.
It's on Disney Plus.
I know. I haven't done that yet. There's so many. I've got all those Ewok films. I've got Droids episodes.
Right.
I barely staying on top of watching Bad Batch. There's just too much going on because I have fallen in love with Lego Masters, so we caught up on Lego Masters.
Oh, well, so that's another thing that you can listen to Who's the Boss, because I'm interviewing every team that's getting eliminated from Lego Masters as the show goes along. So.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I totally had forgotten that's over on Who's the Bossk. I'm going to switch our windows because it's confusing me. Okay.
Sure. I know it's not like directly Star Wars related, but I had interviewed Amy Corbett, the judge from the show, back last year when they did the Star Wars episode. I reached out to them to see if they wanted to do an interview, and they gave me one of the stars of the show, which was awesome. And then this year they reached out to interview Nathan Sawaya, who's the consulting producer, very famous Lego artist who's involved with the show. And then after that, I guess they were happy with how it went because they were like, do you want to interview every team of contestants as they get eliminated from the show? And I was like, yes, I love Lego Masters. So it's heavily represented on Who's the Bossk, even though there's only this very tangential Star Wars connection there. But
I will have to be sure and check that out because I watched Lego Masters with my son, he 12-year-old Gideon. So
yes.
He enjoys the show very much. In fact, he gets very wrapped up in it when they're getting to that point of deciding who's going to go home. He pulls up the cover, it's that you can sense the tension. But one of the things I'm wondering, and if you ever get the chance to I'm curious, how much footage do they actually, if they had to tell you how many hours do they actually film to give us what they give us? I am so curious how much footage is actually made that ends up being just that TV show, because it seems like they must film so much in order to bring us moments in time throughout these builds.
Yeah, they must film a lot, but I can't imagine they're shooting this week's build was a 10-hour build, so I can't imagine they're running all those cameras for 10 hours.
You wouldn't think so, right?
I don't know. That's a lot to sift. As somebody who has done some editing, it's a lot to sift through and log the footage and everything.
Right.
But at the same time, they want to make sure that they get
don't
case
miss
anything
a moment.
Happens. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know, but I can ask that. I have access. So.
No, that was one of those things that popped up while you were mentioning that. I'm like, oh, so now I have somebody who might be able to find me this answer because I'm curious.
Right. If you have any other, I've been mostly asking them the same questions every week just to see what the different responses are from each team. But
of course,
if you have any other questions about Lego Masters, please let me know.
Oh, that's cool. No, I'm excited to discover more about the show. And then I've also fallen in love with Fox's crime scene kitchen. I don't know if you've given that a look yet.
I have not seen that one.
But it's a very, I know this is totally off topic, but we're wrapping up. But they give each team a kitchen that they get to examine. and based upon like what utensils have been used or what remnants of food are left in the trash or the sink or whatever, they have to guess what the person had made, and then they make it. And then so you're not only qualified for the next round in essence based upon having guessed the item, having made the item well, but there's also this element of did you actually make the correct item.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's an interesting concept. I'm enjoying it. It's hosted by Joel McHale, the guy from Community, right? That's Joel McHale. Yeah. And he you know, so it's got a bit of that, you know, kind of just ridiculous humor in the host. So fun stuff.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. But as always here at Laughing Place, we were discussing Star Wars headlines today. We're usually here on Mondays. We call it Omega Mondays because the episode of Bad Batch drops on Friday. And so we talk about it on Monday. But this week with July 4th, we're here on Wednesday. So
and we'll be back in a mere 5 days with another episode.
Will there be any Star Wars news for us to talk about beyond Bad Batch?
Who knows?
Tune in and find out.
Tonight, this evening, in like actually in like 40 minutes, I'm going to be watching the Walt Disney Family Museum's event with Doug Chiang. So he's big guy at Lucasfilm art department, concept artist. Was involved with Galaxy's Edge as well, and he's like head design for all the new stuff too. So I'll be interested to see what he has to say.
Oh, very cool. Tomorrow we're going to be coming to you from I don't know if we're live. I think we're just going to Kennedy Space Center. They've got some events going on there. I know. Let's see. Next week we'll be coming to you from Epcot because the food and wine event is that what it's called? Yeah, the taste of something. I don't know.
Food and wine festival? Is that what
I think it's the Food and Wine Festival.
Why do neither of us know that?
my note in front of me says taste, but for some reason I thought that taste had been now it's like phasing off. We aren't doing as many of these taste stubs, but
right.
Tune in on next week and find out what level of return we have for the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, because Laughing Place will be there and we'll bring you all of that information. Saturday night we'll have a trivia show. So there's always stuff happening here at Laughing Place. If you want to make sure that you don't miss anything, we suggest you subscribe to the stream. You ring the bell. It'll alert you whenever we're live, and we're live a lot. We also have a weekly news video produced by Mike Celestino and voiced by our site manager, Becca Burbank. They keep you up to date on all things happening around the Disney universe and beyond. So, that's right. Doobie wants me to remind people that the trivia contest on Saturday night is going to be in celebration of A113 because it will be contest 113A. We had contest 113 last night. They decided to name Saturday night's contest 113A so they could have an A113 contest because that's the way we do things around here.
I wonder what number Disney Trivia Live is actually up to.
Right?
It's got to be like 150 by now, right?
Who knows? They like constantly shift numbers around. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you all next time. Bye for now.